The twin suns of Clytha Prime were sinking behind jagged, shattered towers of an ancient civilization. The ruins stretched endlessly, skeletal reminders of a species that had vanished millennia before humans first ventured into space. Every shadow seemed alive, every gust of wind carrying whispers of long-dead architects. Amid this alien graveyard, a lone figure moved cautiously, Captain Aria Vance, former Earth Marine and explorer, stepping where no human had before. Her armored boots crunched against broken stone. The air carried an electric tang, faint sparks of alien energy drifting from cracked walls. Aria paused, scanning the alien glyphs etched deep into the stone, glowing faintly in violet hues. The symbols pulsed with a rhythm almost like a heartbeat, as if the ruins themselves were aware of her presence. She inhaled sharply. The jungle beyond the ruins rustled, alive with the sounds of predators she could not yet see. Her communicator buzzed. Captain Vance, sensors unstable. You may be alone for the next hour. Proceed with extreme caution. Alone. The word made her stomach tighten. Humans were not apex predators here. Not by biology, not by scale, not by experience. And yet, there was something in her chest, a spark, that reminded her. Humans survived because they refused to yield. Her pulse quickened, not from exertion, but from awareness of the stakes. She had survived worse before. She could survive this. A soft growl vibrated through the ground. She froze. Her hand instinctively went to her pulse rifle, though instinct told her that weapon alone would not be enough. Her eyes scanned the shadows, alert for movement. Then she saw it, a massive, shimmering form between the ruins. Bioluminescent veins ran across its jagged exoskeleton. The predator's head turned, intelligent eyes locking on her. Aria's breath caught. The apex predator was enormous, taller than any human, faster than any human, stronger than any human. And yet, it hesitated. It was curious, calculating, studying. That pause was enough for Aria to gather her courage. Her mind raced through training, simulations, battlefield memories, all the times she had faced impossible odds. Humans thrived in these moments. Humans survived where others had perished because they were unpredictable. They adapted. They fought when logic said they should flee. And she was human. She took a step forward, scanning the ruins for cover. Crumbling towers offered little protection, but the jagged stone could channel her movements, mask her presence. Each step was measured. She had to bait the predator, to force it into overextension. Her pulse rifle hummed faintly in her hands, a reminder that she was prepared, yet this was no ordinary hunt. A memory surfaced. Her brother, laughing at some trivial childhood joke, and her mother's worried eyes when she had gone on her first solo mission. That memory anchored her, gave her resolve. Humans were fragile, yes, but in that fragility lay ingenuity, courage, and an unbreakable will. The predator moved. Its claws scraped against broken alien metal, sending sparks flying. Its roar was low, resonant, making the ground vibrate. Aria ducked instinctively behind a fallen pillar, eyes tracing the predator's path. Its movements were fluid, precise, every step calculated. And yet, in its confidence, it had overlooked one critical variable: human unpredictability. Aria's comm buzzed again. Captain, detection sensors indicate multiple energy signatures. They are mobilizing. You may have seconds, not minutes. Seconds. That was all she needed. Humans thrived in impossible situations because they refused to panic. She let her mind clear, her instincts taking over. Her body moved before fear could root her in place, steps calculated, eyes sharp, focus absolute. She understood the predator, not as a mindless beast, but as a calculating force that could be manipulated. And then she saw it, a narrow gap between two pillars. A risky maneuver, but an opportunity. The predator lunged, sensing her hesitation. Instinct took over. Aria rolled, firing a short burst from her rifle at the glowing veins along its chest. Sparks and energy flares erupted, making the predator stagger for the briefest moment. Her heart pounded. Humans did not rely on raw power alone. They relied on creativity, speed, and resolve. She felt the spark ignite within her, the certainty that she would survive, not because she was the strongest, but because she refused to fail. A flash of light from the ruins reflected in her visor. She adjusted her stance, taking in the environment. The ruins, the jungle, the strange sky above, everything became part of her strategy. Humans survived by learning, adapting, and improvising. That spark, that drive, was what made them dangerous. The predator's eyes narrowed, its rod deepening. It had underestimated her, as all cosmic threats eventually underestimated humanity. She would not make that mistake. With a deep breath, she prepared for the inevitable confrontation, knowing that survival alone was not enough. Humans always fought not just to live, but to triumph. In the shadows of the alien ruins, under twin suns fading to night, Arya Vance stood poised. Fragile, human, alone, and yet unstoppable. The apex predator was coming, and humanity, unpredictable, ingenious, and relentless, was ready. The alien jungle of Cleverness Prime seemed alive. Every shadow moved with a subtle intent, and the glowing flora pulsed as if sensing the presence of the apex predator. Arya's pulse quickened. Her boots sank slightly into the moss-like growth, which gave off faint sparks of bioluminescent energy with each step. The wind carried the faint scent of ozone and burning vegetation, a reminder that the planet itself had survived far longer than any human civilization. And now, it was watching her. The predator emerged from the thickets like a living nightmare. Its exoskeleton gleamed with dark, iridescent armor, ridges and spines jutting out in angles that seemed to anticipate motion before it even happened. Glowing veins ran across its body, pulsing rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Its eyes, large, calculating, and intelligent, locked onto her. A low, guttural growl vibrated through the ground, making her helmet shiver against her skull. Arya raised her pulse rifle instinctively, but the instinct she had honed for years told her that firepower alone might not be enough. This creature adapted too quickly, moved too deliberately, and seemed to study its prey with an intelligence that bordered on tactical. Humans were weak in comparison, at least by sheer physical metrics. But she reminded herself, unpredictability was humanity's greatest weapon, and she intended to use it. Her communicator buzzed again, static crackling over the speakers. Arya, multiple signals. The apex is not alone. You need to fall back immediately. Falling back felt like surrender. Humanity didn't surrender, not when they had a spark that refused to die, no matter how overwhelming the odds. The alien predators, advanced as they were, had underestimated the core of human resilience, the refusal to yield. Arya remembered her brother's words, whispered over a comlink years ago, before the wars, before the colonies. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward even when fear has you in its grip. She stepped forward, each motion measured, precise. Her rifle spat bursts of energy at the predator's glowing veins. Sparks danced across its armored plates. The creature recoiled briefly, but not entirely, its head tilted, analyzing, adapting. It lunged with a terrifying swiftness that no human could survive if unprepared. Arya dodged, rolling across jagged alien stone, narrowly avoiding claws that could pierce steel. Time seemed elastic. Moments stretched, contracting, expanding in ways that defied her own perception. The jungle's bioluminescent light flickered across her helmet, casting haunting shadows that danced across the predator's hide. She thought of the earth she had left behind, the streets, the smells, her brother laughing at some silly joke, her mother's worried eyes. Every memory became a source of resolve, a spark she could feed into her movements, her decisions. The apex predator roared, and the vibrations shook the ruins around them. Her instinct screamed to run, but human stubbornness, that relentless spark of defiance, forced her forward. She ducked under a swing, rolled, and fired again. The predator's glowing veins flickered violently, signaling damage, but it adapted again. It had learned in seconds what took evolution millennia. Her heart raced, and her mind wrestled with doubt. Could one human, alone, survive this? Could one human's ingenuity really withstand the apex of alien evolution? Each hesitation threatened to be fatal. She felt the crushing weight of the universe, of countless generations of cosmic predators who had dominated their worlds. And then, deep inside, something fled: determination. Not bravado, not arrogance, but pure human resolve. Humans were fragile, yes, but they were clever, relentless, and astonishingly adaptive. Fear could not cripple them if they chose to fight anyway. Arya's hand tightened around her rifle. The predator advanced again, each step deliberate, each claw swipe calculating. She noticed patterns, microtells in its movement. She was learning faster than it expected. Humans excelled at adaptation, at improvisation, at exploiting the unseen. And then, in the predator's momentary overextension, a spark of possibility hit her mind like lightning. She could turn her weakness into strength, the predator's precision against it. She gritted her teeth and whispered to herself, "This ends on my terms." Every instinct honed over decades of survival, every scar, every memory of pain and triumph, merged into a single point of clarity. Humans were not the apex predator by birthright, but by spirit, ingenuity, and the refusal to bow. As the predator prepared to strike again, Arya readied herself, not for death, but for a leap, a strike, a moment of resolve that could alter the outcome entirely. She was alone. She was human. And for that reason alone, she was dangerous beyond calculation. The jungle seemed to pause. Even the alien flora dimmed their bioluminescent pulses, as if anticipating the coming clash. Arya's heartbeat matched the predator's rhythmic pulse of glowing veins. The galaxy might expect humans to falter, but humanity thrived in impossibility. And this was only the beginning. Arya's pulse rifle clicked empty. Sparks from the predator's claws danced across the alien ruins, illuminating the jagged stone like fractured lightning. Every instinct screamed retreat, but retreat was a luxury humans couldn't afford, not when the apex predator was learning faster than any simulation could prepare them for. She dropped the rifle and scanned the ruins. Amid the shattered pillars and glowing alien glyphs, a jagged shard of bioluminescent metal caught her eye. It thrummed faintly, as if resonating with the predator's own energy. A gamble, yes, but Arya had learned long ago that humanity survived on improvisation, on bold risks that others wouldn't dare take. Clutching the shard in one hand, she steadied herself. The predator, sensing her shift, lunged with terrifying precision, claws aimed to tear through armor and bone alike. Arya dodged, rolling across shattered stone, sparks scattering at her heels. Time slowed. She could feel the predator's intelligence calculating, predicting. But humans had a trick no algorithm could anticipate, ingenuity born of instinct and resolve. She leapt, channeling every memory, every loss, every fragment of human courage into a single, decisive strike. The shard met the predator's exoskeleton at a critical joint, slicing through armor with a hiss of energy. The creature staggered, thrashing, glowing veins flickering wildly. It roared, a sound that shook the ruins, reverberating like a warning across the planet. Arya didn't pause. She exploited every overextension, every microflinch, moving with a precision born of desperation and brilliance. The predator adapted. Yes, but humans adapt faster when their survival depends on it. Her movements became a blur of determination, a choreography of instinct and intellect, each strike chipping away at what was once considered invincible. For a moment, the predator froze, studying her. Its alien mind could not compute what it faced, a human, fragile in appearance, relentless in spirit, unyielding in the face of evolution itself. Aliens observing from orbit or even distant senses would have labeled it impossible. One human against the apex of Clytha Prime's predators, and surviving. Finally, the predator collapsed, sparks flying from ruptured veins and broken armor. Its roar died into a ragged echo. Arya stood over it, chest heaving, sweat and grime streaked across her helmet visor. She had done it. Against impossible odds, against evolution's deadliest weapon, she had prevailed. The ruins seemed to exhale. Shadows softened, bioluminescent plants flickered with renewed life, and even the distant nebula above seemed to glow brighter. In that moment, Arya understood the truth that humans carried across the galaxy. Strength was not measured solely by power, but by resilience, by the refusal to yield, and by the courage to strike when all hope seemed lost. She lowered the shard, letting the predator's broken form settle into the glowing rubble. The echoes of its final roar faded into the alien wind. She felt the weight of solitude, the heavy responsibility of survival, but also the exhilaration of triumph. Humans were fragile, yes, but within that fragility burned a spark no cosmic force could extinguish. Arya lifted her helmet visor, letting the faint breeze touch her face. The galaxy had watched, perhaps for the first time, as a human refused to be an easy target. And in their silence, whether through shock or awe, the apex predator and all who bore witness learned a new law: underestimate a human at your peril. Her comm crackled softly. Captain Vance, status report. Arya smiled faintly, exhaustion and resolve mingling in her eyes. They'll remember this. Humans never surrender. For a heartbeat, she allowed herself a moment of reflection. Then, ever vigilant, she scanned the horizon. More dangers would come. Aliens had countless tricks, countless apex predators, but humans thrived on impossibility. And humanity's spark, as always, refused to die. The jungle exhaled, the ruins shimmered, and the twin suns of Clytha Prime began to rise again. Humanity had struck, and in striking, they had reminded the cosmos that the human spirit could never be predicted, tamed, or broken. The twin suns of Clytha Prime rose slowly over the alien ruins, casting long golden violet rays across jagged stone and shattered architecture. Smoke from the apex predator's defeat drifted in the morning light, mingling with the faint, pulsing glow of alien flora. Arya Vance sat on a broken wall, armor scorched and scratched, helmet visor pushed back to let the cool breeze touch her face. The jungle was quiet now, almost reverent. The predator was gone, defeated not by overwhelming power, but by human ingenuity, courage, and the stubborn refusal to surrender. Arya's breath came in uneven pools as she ran her fingers across the glowing alien shards embedded in the ruins. Memories of Earth surged through her, childhood laughter, her mother's worried eyes, the countless battles that had trained her for moments like this. Every hardship, every scar, had built her to this point. Her communicator crackled, a faint static hum breaking the silence. Captain Vance, sensors confirm all hostile life forms neutralized. Colony is secure. How did? Arya allowed herself a tired, knowing smile. Humans survive. That's all anyone needs to know. She stood, scanning the horizon. The ruins stretched endlessly, a testament to civilizations long gone. The apex predator's shattered form lay smoldering in the distance, a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the cosmos, but also of humanity's unexpected power. Humans had no innate superiority in terms of biology or technology in this system, yet here she stood alive, victorious, unbroken. In the quiet, she reflected on the apex predator's gaze, those calculating alien eyes that had expected fear, submission, defeat. They had misjudged humanity. They had underestimated the spark that could not be extinguished, the indomitable will to survive, to fight, to innovate. Arya felt that spark surge within her once more. It was fragile, yes, but unyielding. The ruins themselves seemed to acknowledge it. Bioluminescent plants pulsed gently, the alien glyphs shimmered faintly in the morning light, and the wind whispered across broken stone. The cosmos had watched, and for the first time, or perhaps the 100th, recognized the human spirit, small, fragile, yet explosively potent when driven by courage and resolve. She took a deep breath and thought of the path ahead. There would be more predators, more alien threats, more impossible odds. But humanity thrived in impossibility. Every miscalculation by an enemy, every assumption of weakness, was an opportunity for humans to adapt, to innovate, to strike. That was their power. That was their gift. Arya began walking back toward her starship, each step measured and deliberate. The galaxy might view humans as fragile, but they were unpredictable, unstoppable when they refused to bow. And today, she had shown it, not through superhuman strength, but through ingenuity, courage, and the relentless refusal to surrender. She paused at the edge of the ruins, looking back at the smoldering remains of the predator. "We're not done," she whispered, almost to herself. "And we'll never be done. But we'll keep fighting. Because that's who we are." As she stepped onto the path to her ship, the rising suns illuminated her silhouette against the alien horizon. A lone human, fragile yet fearless, walking among ruins older than any human memory, leaving behind the mark of courage, hope, and resolve. The galaxy had witnessed the impossible, humans striking back, shaping the outcome of battles they had no right to win. And somewhere, deep in the cosmos, that spark of humanity flared brighter, a reminder to all civilizations: underestimate humans at your peril. And for Arya Vance, as for every human who had ever faced the impossible, survival was not enough. Triumph, ingenuity, and spirit defined them. And as she climbed aboard her ship, she carried not just her own victory, but the legacy of human resilience, ready to shine wherever the cosmos dared challenge them next.